Hey guys, Marines are good against Lings, A tier. So in the early game the Marine is not good because small numbers of Marines get easily surrounded by Lings, but once you progress to the mid game and get like a ball of Marines, it's way harder for the Lings to surround, and the Marines have a very high DPS. They kill the Lings before the Lings can even attack, so overall A tier. The Marauder is pretty weak against Zerglings. I would say D tier, because the Marauder, number one, it has bonus damage against armored units, but the Zergling is not armored. Another thing is, Marauders have a concussive shells ability that slows down enemy units, but for one Marauder you get 5 Zerglings. So even if you slow one of the Zerglings down, there are still 4 Zerglings left that can hunt down the Marauder and kill them. It's really not strong against Zerglings. This guy here, the Reaper, I think it is a C tier against Zerglings. The reason is, it is slower than Zerglings, can be hunted down and surrounded, and it generally has low HP and low damage output for the price. One thing that is pretty annoying about the Reaper, it has the cliff jump ability. So sometimes when the Zerglings approach, it will jump down the cliff. The Zerglings will then approach again. It will again jump up the cliff. So this is pretty annoying, but other than that, it's a weak unit against Zerglings, C tier. The Ghost is also, I think, not strong against Zerglings. I would place it also probably into C tier. So, number one, the Ghost has bonus damage against light units, and the Zerglings are light. So that is something positive about the Ghost. But other than that, everything is pretty weak. So it has little HP for the price. It is pretty slow, can get surrounded pretty easily. And maybe most important thing, the Ghost's abilities are usually very strong, but they're useless against Lings. So EMP doesn't do anything against Lings, and Snipe can be used against Lings, but it's very wasteful to use it. So in general, the Ghost is weak against Lings. And then we have the Hellion. This is awesome. I would put it into S tier because number one, it is very fast. It is almost as fast as a Zergling. It has splash damage, very powerful against groups of Lings, and it also has bonus damage against light units, and with the blue flame upgrade it has even a very strong bonus damage against light units. So this is, in my opinion, an S tier counter to Zerglings. Next we have the Hellbat. This is, I think, also good, but I would put it one tier lower than the Hellion, because the Hellbat in a straight up fight, it is very strong. Just like the Hellion, it has splash damage, it has bonus damage to light units with a blue flame upgrade, and the splash damage of the Hellbat is like a wider cone, which is even more useful in a fight than the line splash damage of the Hellion. The Hellbat also has higher HP, but I'm not going to put it into S tier because it is slow. So in a direct fight against Zerglings, yes, it is an S tier, but because it is slow, it's not really good at defending Zergling harassment and Zergling run-bys, but is still good in A tier. The Widowmine, I think, is an interesting one. I would probably also put it into A tier because the Widowmine can be very good against Lings. So a Widowmine has splash damage. It deals 40 splash damage in an area. Lings have 35 HP, so the splash damage one-shots a group of Zerglings. Very strong, okay? But Zerglings can somewhat micro against the Widowmine because a Zergling player can send a single Zergling to the mine attacks and then is on cooldown. And because you can get 4 Zerglings for the price of 1 mine, this can be okay. It can be a good trade for the Zergling against the mine. And another thing is that the mine causes friendly fire. So once the Zergling attacks the Terran army and the mine attacks, oftentimes the mine will destroy Lings, but will also deal a lot of friendly fire to surrounding Marines or tanks or whatever. So it is very strong, but the Lings can micro against it, and it can cause friendly fire. Alright guys, next we have the Thor. The Thor, I would put it into C tier. It's generally not strong against Lings. There are a couple of reasons for it. Reason number one, it's very slow. It gets hunted down by the Zergling, very bad at defending, at catching Zergling run-bys. And another major reason is the Thor has a high overkill against Zerglings. So what this means is Thor deals 60 damage per shot, but the Zergling has just 35 HP, so the Thor wastes approximately half of his damage potential when it attacks Zerglings. It is very weak against Lings. The reason I'm not putting it into D tier is because the Thor has some use at blocking Zerglings. So it has 400 HP and 1 armor, and it is as big as 2 depots approximately. So the Thor can be used as a wall, and the Zerglings can't break through the Thor if it is like plugged in between depots as a part of a wall. So it is good at blocking Zergling movement, but other than that, it's very bad. And next we have the tank. I think the tank is a D tier. There's a couple of reasons for it. So number one, the tank has bonus damage against armored units, but the Zergling is not armored. Number two, the tank has a minimum range of 2. So once the Zergling is in melee range to the tank can't attack the Zergling. And on the other hand, the tank has splash damage, which can be good against Zerglings, but the splash damage is a double-edged sword because it deals friendly fire. And this means that the splash damage sounds good, but sometimes it is even a net negative because it will damage Zerglings, but it is also going to kill your own units like Marines or buildings. I think the tank is really weak against Lings. And then we have the Cyclone. This, I think, is also a D tier because the Cyclone's lock-on ability is a very strong ability against single targets. So it locks onto one target and kills the target. But for the price of one Cyclone, you get, I think, I think close to 10 Zerglings or so. So locking on and destroying one Zergling is useless. There's still too many Zerglings left. It's very weak against Lings, and it is slower than the Zergling and has little HP for the price. Then we have the Depot, and the Depot, I would actually put it into S tier. So I know the Depot doesn't have an attack. It can't attack the Zergling, but the Depot has 400 HP, 1 armor for just 100 minerals. It can be repaired, and with a supply drop, the Depot gets instantly repaired to 500 HP. Okay, and this means that a wall made out of depots with repair and supply block is unbreakable. A wall of depots can hold off an infinite amount of Zerglings. So I think it is an S tier. I think without the depot, Terran would probably always lose against Zerglings. And then we have the Liberator. I think the Liberator is a mediocre unit. So it is a flying unit with an anti-ground attack, which is of course good against Zerglings. But again, the Liberator has a large overkill, so a Liberator deals 70 damage, but the Zergling just has 35 HP. The Liberator wastes a lot of damage, and of course the Liberator can only attack anti-ground in a relatively small circle, and because the Zergling is such a fast unit, it is pretty good at just dodging or running out of the circle. It's okay, but not strong B tier. And then we have the Viking. I think this is also a weak one, because in flying mode, it doesn't have anti-ground, and in ground mode, it does have an anti-ground attack, but the anti-ground attack just deals bonus damage to mechanical units, which the Zergling is not. So the damage output is low. It's also pretty slow in the ground mode, so I think it's really weak, D tier. And next we have the subscribe button, guys. So if you like StarCraft tier lists, please subscribe. My goal is to make every possible StarCraft tier list. Thank you. And the Banshee, I think, is also very good. I would put the Banshee into S tier. So it is a flying unit with an anti-ground attack. It has a pretty high DPS. It usually always two-shots the Zergling. It's not the fastest unit, but with the speed upgrade, it has a decent speed, can defend against Zergling run-bys. I think it's an S tier against Zerglings. And next we have the Raven. This is a weak one because none of the abilities are useful. So anti-armor missile, sure, can be used, but it's not really Zergling specific. It's very generalistic spell. And the Matrix is also cannot be used on the Zergling, can only be used on psionic or mechanical units. And the auto turret is also pretty weak because Zerglings can always just run away against auto turrets. And the battle cruiser, I think, is also a mediocre one. Number one, the Zergling is typically an early game unit, and the battlecruiser just has a very long build time and requires a lot of tech, so it will just often be too late. On the other hand, it has a ground attack, and not only that, the battlecruiser has an anti-air attack that deals 5 damage and an anti-ground attack that deals 8 damage. So the battlecruiser actually uses its stronger attack against Zerglings, but it is good. It's a flying unit with anti-ground, but because it comes into the game super late, I'm just going to put it into B tier. This thing is useless, of course, the turret. The planetary is a good one. I think I'll put it into A tier because the planetary number 1, it has 2 base armor, which is strong against Zerglings, blocks out a lot of the Zergling damage. Number 2, the attack of the planetary fortress has splash damage, also strong against Zerglings. And of course, it can be repaired by SCVs. And once the SCVs form like the ring of repairing SCVs, the Zerglings can't even really attack the planetary fortress. I think it's good, it's solid, but it's still immobile. Zerglings can always just choose to not attack it. And then we have the bunker. This is also solid. So bunker with Marines inside. The Marines can be stimmed, and then the bunker has a very high DPS. And I mean, if the bunker is out in open terrain, it still gets surrounded easily by the Zerglings. But if the bunker is close to depots or so, it's very hard for Zerglings to engage the bunker. Also, bunker can be repaired. I would put it somewhere between A and B tier. I think B tier is fine. Alright dudes, see you next time.